Okay, good morning, dear parents. We're get ready to start now. Today's session is about time management for our students to be well-rounded and balance their schoolwork, their extracurriculars, their athletics, whatever you need them to do at home to build their character and reduce their stress and help them manage it. And I will be presenting today, Sabah, the coordinator of academic school counseling in the district. Karout.
Hello, everyone. I am the school counselor here. I'm assigned for pre-K through 11th grade. We're so excited to have you this morning.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Okay, so why time management? So we chose this topic because at this time of year, everyone, their energy starts becoming lower. We got multiple breaks coming up, and sometimes kids, you see their grades going downhill, and lots of it is due to time management. So we would like to just explain to the parents why this topic, why time management is important. Students today, they juggle a lot, like Ms. Mai was saying. You got students in NHS and character leads in sports doing the schoolwork, and then you got high school kids who are doing AP, they're doing dual enrollment, they're doing so much, and the extracurricular activities and everything else that they have on the weekend. So it's very important for them to know how to manage their time to be successful students. So us as parents, we can help our students do this. Good time management will support them academically. It will support their character. It will support their mental wellness, their mental health, and it helps prevent burnout. So burnout is when you're at the peak of things and you can't do it anymore. So you just freeze or you burn out. And these early habits shape the lifelong executive functioning skills. So these are very important for your kids. And like one parent said here, we can also as adults learn from time management.
Okay, and in true my fashion, I have to talk about the brain. Okay, always talk about the brain because it's the center of our operation. Okay, and sometimes as adults, we forget how we were when our children were younger, and the fact, maybe we don't even forget, we didn't get a chance in our generations to actually think about it. We didn't have the option to think about it, but our kids do, and it's really important for us as parents and educators to keep that in mind. So the first thing that I always like to remind our adults is that our prefrontal cortex is the last part of the brain that develops. آخر شيء بينمو في العقل, prefrontal cortex right here, and that's responsible for decision making, impulse control, organization, time management, all the things that are expected from us to function as humans correctly. Okay, that's still developing. So I want you to think about your children and your adolescents as maybe like a phone. It's a machine, a phone. And you're asking the phone to do things, but the phone is not completely built yet. So if you are asking a machine to do something and it's not completely built or updated, there's going to be some trouble, right? And it might cause us some frustration, but does the phone deserve our frustration? Not necessarily, because it can't do anything about it. So let's keep that in mind. The way the brain for children and youth is wired is to respond to short-term rewards, not long-term. So when we talk to them about, okay, what do you want to study? I want to become a nurse or a psychologist or a dentist. Okay, well, you need to work on your time management habits now and your studies now to get to that. Even though that's exciting, their brain doesn't integrate that into their everyday. It's too long ahead. it can't perceive that goal as a realistic one that will impact me today in the amount of time I'm gonna study, or the sport I will pursue, or the joining NHS or student government. So we need to break down these tasks or goals into short-term goals with immediate rewards. They want to know, what am I getting out of it? And that's not being selfish or immature. I mean, they are immature. Their brain is not developed completely. Because some parents think if they always want something right after their effort, right? That's how their brain operates. It's not a character flaw. It's not that there's something wrong with them. They do need that to motivate them to actually go ahead and take on that task. And it's not laziness, it's not selfishness, it's how our brains are wired. And nowadays, I think it's great. Our kids are more outspoken. They tell us how they feel, they tell us what they need. They might not phrase it correctly or know exactly the roots of how they feel, but at least they're speaking to us about it. And I encourage you all to listen. And again, listening doesn't mean agreeing. Listening is making them feel heard. And then it's our job to guide them on how to navigate that feeling or that state of mind that they're in. Very important for all of us. To get enough sleep, which I know is very problematic, especially for high school students. I think I covered with you guys before that melanin, which one? I always confuse them. Melatonin, right? Yes. I always confuse them too. Melatonin in adolescence kicks in later in the day. That's when teens stay up. Again, that's a brain function that they don't have full control over. But we can foster certain habits at the house to help with that, you know? Now, alhamdulillah, the night starts earlier, it's darker earlier, so their melatonin signals kick in earlier. So hopefully they'll be sleeping earlier, okay? But we can darken the house, we can quiet it down, make sure it's not high stress and energy at night, and that will help their bodies naturally get that signal. It's time to quiet down, okay? Nutrition and hydration, water and nutrition. If you see your kids irritated, having a hard time to focus, I urge you, the first thing to check in, the first thing to check in with is, when was the last time they ate? Have they drank any water? How much sleep did they get? I think one of my main takeaways today is I want you to check in with your kids physically before anything. Because what happens is our kids are irritable for some reason or another. And right away, we negotiate with the irritability or try to manage it, right? The root cause sometimes is physical. If we take care of the physical body first, of our nervous system, of our brain, of our organs, you'll have a better chance of properly negotiating that stress and negotiating that tension, okay? Stress and overstimulation. So raise your hand if you're not stressed. Okay, put your hands down, guys. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, we're all stressed. Stress is a normal part of life. And our children and youth need to know that the goal is not to get to a point where the stress ends. That's not a realistic goal. We will always be stressed. Stress is good. Stress is how we get up to go to work. It's how we get up to go to school. It's how we finish a project. It's how we take that winning shot in a basketball game. Stress is needed. It's designed in our body to keep us productive and going. When stress overflows and anxiety overflows, that's when, instead of going, we start freezing because we can't handle it anymore. So stress is not a bad thing. Let's normalize that for our kids. It will never end. We will always be stressed. It's part of life. And it's okay, and it's manageable. Overstimulation and overstressing is what we need to target. We need to understand as adults that when our teens and our children are overstimulated or too stressed, they're not going to function properly. So it's our job to help them build the awareness. What are you feeling right now? How do you know when you're overwhelmed? How do you know when we went from the normal needed stress to I'm so overwhelmed that I can't even put my shoes on. I can't even like think about going to school today. Helping them with that self-awareness, and then what can I do or what do you need right now to make your stress more manageable? Well, just that sentence, you guys, automatically diffuses a lot of the stress in the body. Okay? The nervous system goes from I'm in a threatened state, I am alone and I'm freaking out and panicking, to wow, I have a support, I have someone who's going to regulate with me, and I'm not alone in this. And I'll tell you, 30% of that stress will go down just by you asking, what can I do to make this more manageable for you? Okay? All right. So let me start with this. When we're helping our students manage their time and figuring out how to be organized, there's no one thing. Imagine if you have multiple children and you, your spouse, and your children all wear a one-size-fits-all jacket or coat in the winter. Would that work? That wouldn't work.
Sometimes no.
No, it wouldn't work. It's easy because we can go online and order 5 of the same thing. We don't have to browse. It's easy to do this, but it doesn't work. Okay? What works is to understand the individual you're dealing with and understand that each one of our children is their own unique human being with their own unique brain. They might have things that are genetically passed from you. You might see in your kids, this one thinks like me, or this one is so structured like me, and this one is organized, and this one is so messy. That's all different brain function. We want to stay away from thinking about it as character flaws. You know, if I have a son and a daughter. My daughter is super organized with her schoolwork, but her room is so messy. Okay? My son is not really into his schoolwork, but his stuff is meticulous. I mean, his laundry basket is folded, the dirty clothes. He takes them off and folds them and puts them in there. They're different. They're twins, by the way.
Wow.
They're twins. So you think they'd be totally different humans. SubhanAllah. So would I go to my daughter and say, look at your brother. He's so organized in his room. What's going on with you? I see her messiness as her creativity. She's a big picture thinker, right? She's not really concerned about where the cup goes and where that shirt goes. That doesn't mean that we should just let them be, right? We should help them the way they can receive it, okay? We can say so much. If it's not received, then there's no point. The only thing it's going to produce is tension, okay? So, if we have some of our children, going back to the differences. Some of your children will thrive in routine. You're going to see that they like to do the same things every day at the same time. Their stuff is organized. They eat at a certain time. They love that, okay? And others, like those big picture, abstract thinking individuals, like me, by the way, will hate structure. They'll need flexibility and autonomy. They won't like it when you tell them, we're eating at this time, we're studying at this time, okay? It's suffocating. And I'm telling you, I'm one of these individuals, and I consider myself as a successful, functional adult. So I don't want you to think when you see this flexible, like all over the place person, that they're not going to be successful adults. You can't rewire their brain. You can support their brain as it is, okay? So empower them to make decisions and give you feedback, and give them feedback in a way that they can receive it by letting them understand, okay, I understand that you function differently, but we want to make you the most successful individual you can be. So what is it that I can do? Again, not you do this, you have to do this. As you see, when I said this, I naturally point to the finger because that's how it's received. Do this, eat at this time, study, you have practice, get ready, where's your bag? Why isn't your stuff packed in it? It's all,
Intimidating, yeah.
it's intimidating, it's stressful, it stresses them out. Whether they show it or not, it stresses them out, not pleased with them. But if you're like, what's the plan? We have practice in 30 minutes. Are we all set? Do you need me to do anything? And do you need me to do anything doesn't mean you're gonna do things for them, but it's just positioning you as a support instead of a hovering controller. Okay? Some of our children, they're rule followers. They love rules, they love clear expectations. When I do this, this happens. When I don't do this, this happens or doesn't happen. And other ones are rule challengers. We oftentimes think that rule challengers are defiant kids or kids who don't listen or kids who give us a hard time. Again, we go back to this physically. Their brain doesn't work that way. Their brain wants to know, Mama, you asked me to do this, or my teacher asked me to do this. I don't understand the point. Why do I have to do this? Doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. It's okay. Sometimes what I say is, I hear you. I don't know why we do this either, but we live in a system where we have to do it, okay? I don't like it either, but it's the only way we can get to a certain point. So we have two options. We either walk to that point like this, oh my God, and I keep taking stops and be miserable, or I'll walk with you hand in hand, and I'm gonna support you to get to there, while we both know it's pointless. Like when the kids tell me, I am not interested in science or math. I want to be a lawyer. Why do I have to take physics? Why do I have to take chemistry? I wish I could change it. I can't. Like even it is what it is, and I hear you. And there's so much value in saying, I hear you. Yeah, I know. It's so good. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. But you guys, I'm telling you, if you tell your children, I hear you, I maybe not understand, or I'm not, I understand, because none of us will ever completely understand something. And sometimes it's dismissive when we say I understand. And you're gonna hear it back. No, you don't understand. You don't have to do this.
Yeah.
Right? So I hear you, or I'm listening. I see that you're frustrated. Again, that takes away at least 30% of the angst that they have. Okay? So let's try to not demonize or villainize our rule challenger children. It makes our jobs harder because we have to sit and explain things. And sometimes we can't convince them. And you might think, why do I have to convince them about something that everybody does, or a rule that's so common sense to me? Remember, my common sense is not your common sense. My common sense is not your common sense. We need that flexibility to get them to understand why we do the things we do, okay? Based on this, do trial and error at home. with different modalities or tools to help them manage their time. And by the way, I think it's on the next slide. Okay, yeah. Your children, you will see, they will completely change depending on the season they're in, the developmental stage they're in. So maybe for my daughter, when she was in elementary, something worked. Now in middle, we have to revisit again. And now in high school, we have to completely change the system of how she does things. So you also need to ride that wave with them at the center. What do you need? What helps you? This works for me when I was your age, but I don't know if it'll work for you. Do you want to try it? Try. Okay, mama, it doesn't work. Okay, how about we try this one? How about we install an app for you? We get you a big whiteboard to use or a calendar, okay? Also, try to get them to learn and you observe their different energy peaks and their rhythms, okay? That can be on a daily basis. Like some people are morning people, some people are evening people. I'm an evening learner. Like the late at night, that's when all my creativity and my focus comes in. Unfortunately, I wish I was a morning person. I struggled so much because I was always taught, wake up early, do it early, your brain is freshest when it's early. And I'm like, that's not my brain. I tried. 1 hour at night for me was more effective than 3 hours early in the morning in retaining information. So I agree. Waking up in the morning and being an early riser is great, but we can encourage it and be patient with it, but also honor where they're at, okay? Some of our students, I don't know if you guys experience this, some of our students and adults, we have peaks and valleys in our energy levels over weeks. So maybe for a couple of weeks, you're so energetic and so productive and going. And then you find that the next 2 weeks, you don't want to do anything. You're conserving.
That's where our students are at now.
Yeah, you're conserving energy. That can be how you're wired chemically. That can be due to the weather. That can be due to the sun, like seasonal changes. But okay, I noticed that in my student. How about you have a syllabus or you have a plan for this class or you have the schedule for the events in the organization that you're in or the games and what you need to do for your athletic team. When you notice that your energy is up, let's try to get as much stuff done ahead of time as possible so that when you get to that low point, you're not panicking. You already got a lot of stuff done when you had that increased energy. Okay. Again, we talked about hunger, dehydration, sleep, like that physical check-in is so important. You being consistent, even if your kid is a rule challenger or a non-routine person, you trying to be consistent with your expectations will really help them because that creates safety, okay? If you respond to your kids or students emotionally because you're frustrated, or even when you're happy, like if you are really happy with them and you reward them, but when you're mad at them, you punish them, it creates instability inside and it creates unpredictability, and that doesn't feel safe. And I'm telling you, it doesn't feel safe on a physical level, their nervous system. Because our nervous system it's not our brain. Our brain is the one that perceives information, interprets it, and then gives you ideas, feelings on how to operate and function, right? Our nervous system is either safe or not safe, or safe, alerting to a threat, and unsafe. It doesn't matter if that threat is a bear or a snake in front of you, or my parent being mad at me. It doesn't matter. it does matter a little bit in how much adrenaline is getting pumped or cortisol, but the fact of the matter is, if the nervous system is perceiving any type of threat, it will go into fight or flight, and that's a stressful mode of living. That stress can also, that flight or flight can be activated if the house is not calm and peaceful most of the time. If there's a lot going on at home, your child will be in a stressed state for a prolonged period of time. That will affect their school performance, that will affect their involvement, and it will affect their body because the nervous system is not supposed to be stressed every day too much. Okay? Okay. Neurodivergence. So let me preface by saying neurodivergent اللي يختلف أنماط العقل. You know, you can think of ADHD, autism, a lot of other things. I feel like a lot of us are neurodivergent. Okay, you don't need to be diagnosed with a disorder to be neurodivergent. Like me personally, I have a lot of traits from autism, from ADHD, but I don't meet the criteria for a disorder. So I don't meet the criteria to be diagnosed that. But when I read about it, I'm like, I experienced that. I feel that way. I operate that way. And that self-awareness and knowledge helps me set my boundaries and thrive in what I'm doing. Okay? So for example, I had no idea what overstimulation or sensory overload meant when I was their age. Okay? And I would find myself like freaking out and needing to like run away from crowds or certain people or certain places or places that are like overly decorated or lit. And I didn't understand it. And I thought I was weird and crazy, right? When I understood it now, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be in the cafeteria speaking today. The lights are so bright. The sun is out. I'm going to mentally prepare myself that I will get that light stimulus and I'm going to take care of myself by maybe not facing the windows and the glare of the sun. Or I'm going to go to this big event with a lot of people, but I'm going to make sure that I know a spot where I can just like decompress and reset my body due to overstimulation. So that's your sensory overload. I also learned that if my desk as I'm working or studying has too many things on it, I'm working, I'm studying, but I'm stressed. And I didn't know why. When I read about this stuff and I started clearing my desk with only the things I have to read or write or type, game changer. So check in with your kids about that stuff. Okay, let's try clearing this out. Let's try moving your work area to face the wall so you're not seeing all the furniture behind you or all this art, or let's get you away from your younger siblings. This will be your study corner, okay? Time blindness. Do you guys know people, or are you someone who can't ever calculate how much time it takes to like get to the airport? Or
No, not that bad.
you're not that person, you're good with that? Anybody, do you know anyone like that?
Every time.
Good, good, that's a blessing for you. Do we not know anyone who can't like calculate? You're like, how did you think that it's going to take half an hour when it's 2 hours? Like, how did you think you were gonna make that flight?
I just always ask him to be that.
Yeah, yes, I asked, because this is very real. This is very real. It's not stupidity, and it's not, yeah. Some brains have a difficult time calculating time, and some brains are amazing, okay? Keep that in mind too, that your kids might think Okay, I scheduled, so I have practice today, and then, I had a National Honor Society meeting, and I have an AP project coming up. And, I scheduled with my group that I'm going to meet with them on Zoom. You're gonna be like, you're gonna be home after practice by 5, 6 PM. When is all of this gonna happen, right? Help them understand, okay, how much time did you think this was gonna take? Okay, let's put a timer or a clock where you're at to help you start learning how much this stuff actually takes. And keep that information stored in your head so you plan accordingly, okay? Without shaming them, like, are you kidding me? You think you're gonna do this all day? In the few hours? It's very important for us to be gentle and understanding and take into account the fact that our brains all function different, okay? Distractibility goes with it. Distractibility and procrastination. Breaking down, okay, if we have a paper to write, they have a paper for English. The idea of writing that paper is so big for their brain to tackle. So instead of that being the task, okay, let's break it down. We're going to start on the introduction. And then that's your goal. Just write the introduction. After that, see if you can write the first body paragraph. See if you can move on to the next body paragraph and then the conclusion. So that way the brain is like, oh, actually writing the introduction is not that bad. It's not going to take too much time or energy, right? For some of our students, it's not even the introduction. You tell them, open your Chromebook, open Google Docs or Word document. That's it. And save that as my last name, first name, essay for English, whatever the title is, okay? Then go take a break and come back and see if you can work on the introduction. Like certain brains, you have to break it down even more. Some of them, it's simply open your computer. That's all I want you to do right now, okay? All right, to help not just with neurodivergent students, but to help any student break down the tasks. Again, we go back to the physical body. If they get up and stretch, if they get up and wash their face, if they get up and just like sway around, if they get up to pray, these physical breaks reset the brain. Do you guys know that every time if you blink completely, not our normal blinks, if you blink completely, it's like a different frame in your brain. It's like the experience is new. Like if you're really excited about something and you want to remember it, blink completely to give your brain a lot of that stimulus. Okay? If you're watching your kid getting honored, blink a lot. It kind of like saves a lot of files in your brain about that one thing. Okay? A reset also is moving. Walk around. If they're practicing something, tell them, walk around. If it helps them to move as they're studying or working on something, please encourage it, okay? That doesn't mean they're distracted. Actually, students who have a high level or vulnerability to being distracted, if you ask them to sit down and not move, you are imprisoning them. You are paralyzing them, okay? Okay. Emotional regulation is what leads to procrastination. We procrastinate and push off things that don't make us feel good. Okay? So procrastination really is not a time management thing. It's a feeling thing. It's a state of mind thing. I'm so stressed out and I really don't want to take that Algebra 2 exam. I don't want to study. I hate it. The idea about it makes me like want to leave school altogether. We need to emotionally regulate. Okay. I see that you're really stressed out and you're really dreading doing anything with algebra right now. What can we do? Because you're taking the exam either way. What can we do to kind of like regulate your body right now? emotional regulation tips include a lot of that nervous system body resets. Take a shower. Run, wash your hands. Wash your face. Something cold, something hot. Smell a candle. Smell essential oils. Exercise if there's no way, if there is time. If there is no time, stretch. Close your eyes for a little bit. Lay down for 5 minutes. Not on the phone. Just lay down. All of these physical resets tell your nervous system, oh, I was about to panic and freak out because of algebra 2, because algebra 2 now is a threat to the nervous system. But May is washing her face. That means she's not in danger. That means algebra 2 is not that big of a monster because there's water and we feel relaxed. Drink water. That helps too. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. Ms. Caruso, I'll punt it over to you.
Thank you, Ms. May. That was great. Okay,
Thank you.
so this all leads up to giving you guys some kind of time management tools you guys can use at home. All right, some of you might already have this in place, some of you might not, but this is very beneficial for your students. So as we said, there's not enough time in the day and they have so much to do. They really do, you know, even with my kids. And last night, I could give you an example. My son brought his packet, which is like 4 pages, and he wanted to do it at 8:30. And I told him, I'm like, Mama, you know you had something this big that's going to take us at least an hour to do. You have to come earlier. And I understand sometimes us as parents, because we're also so busy, sometimes we're not in their backpack digging what they have. So it's good to, you know, get your kids just to have the sense of time management and how to manage their time. So these are some tips. We are also presenting this to the middle school. We did present it to the 6th grade. I am planning to present time management tips to the 7th grade class as well. So for example, these are just some tools. Ms. May, feel free to, you know, chip in. To-do lists. To-do lists are great. I use one. Well, I'm sure we can all use one. Keep it short, simple, bullet points, and then cross off as you go. So you can tell your kids to do that. They also have planners and calendars. We issue each student a planner at the beginning of the school year. Unfortunately, not all kids take advantage of it. Sometimes we do find them even laying around in the hallway and we pick them up. So planners are great. Now, hey, a planner might not work for this specific student, then what works for you? You know, some kids tell me I'd rather write stuff down on my phone. Well, we have a no phone policy, but if that works for you after school where you could write stuff down on your phone or your iPad or whatever, do that. Maybe we keep a list on the fridge and, you know, we go based on that, whatever works for your child. But this is a very important tool to help them manage their time. Okay. Plan deadlines, tests, and events ahead. I gave my own personal example. You know, we know a packet's going to take at least an hour and something. We have to do it before time. We can't do it 8 p.m. Pull it out of the backpack. Time blocking, break your day into chunks, schedule breaks, turn off notifications and social media. We know social media, electronics are a big thing. Maybe use them just for 30, 40 minutes a day if we could get our kids only to use social media for that much. I know it's really hard. I struggle myself at home, but maybe 30 minutes I think is more than enough because everything's so fast paced.
I want my time, what are you gonna say?
You have to do your, I know, and they also do have assignments and homework and.
I can.
Yeah.
So so I want to bring something up about technology and social media. I'll tell you guys that a secret that you might not know, but when you actually enable the youth to give you feedback that they know you're not going to use against them, most of them will tell you it's too much, it hurts my brain, it wastes my time. They don't love it as much as we think they do, but I'm sure you guys have all heard about the dopamine released with these quick things. So dopamine is not actually released when you experience pleasure or joy. Dopamine is released when you know you're about to. It's the excitement and anticipation, okay? And remember when we said short-term rewards? Social media, technology, the scrolling, dopamine after dopamine after dopamine, like the hits are just right after each other. And then you tell them, sit down for an hour or 2 or 3 to do this. So that's why it's really important to attach it to breaks and attach it to short-term rewards. And they don't have to be huge rewards. It can be their favorite snack after they finish the outline for this paper. Or
Go out for ice cream. I do that sometimes.
yeah,
Over the weekend, I tell them on the weekend we'll go out.
but why I chimed in and I really want to say is, if you tell them in an educational, loving, nurturing, supportive way that I know this is not good for your brain, like I know, don't you feel that sometimes you lose track of time? They're gonna say yes. But if it's coming in a way that's threatening, and again, when I say threatening, I'm talking about nervous system threats, not like not intimidating or aggressive. In a way that's like, oh, I'm in trouble. Mama and Baba are upset with me. Or Mama and Baba are gonna take my phone away. Or they're gonna control me. They're gonna get defensive and be like, no, it doesn't waste my time. I know what I'm doing. I'm already done. What if you're like, you know, I'm concerned. I think you've been spending too much time and it's affecting how your brain is operating, or the fact that you're fatigued all the time. Because you think you're resting, but your brain is actually not resting. It's getting overstimulated. Can we do anything about this? Let's come up with a plan. Okay?
So that could be another technique. Also, Pomodoro technique where kids work for 25 minutes and take 5-minute breaks. This also probably even for like the older group. I think with my kids, we do like 15 minutes and then we take a break. My kids are in elementary, so this basically, it just depends on maybe the age group, but also this is a very good technique where sometimes studying for an hour or 2 is just unrealistic. They have to have breaks, and 25 minutes is probably even like on the higher end too.
Yeah.
You know, so depending on their age group.
And I want to point out that this works great with some people. Other people, what you're going to see is the hardest step is start. And that's why, yeah. And that's why I'm telling you, okay, just open that Word document. Just type in your name on the top. And once they get started and they start working, they can spend hours, okay? So again, this is wonderful, but figure out if it works for them or not. And if it doesn't, let them do their thing, but let them own what they're doing. It really makes a difference when we own our tasks and we own our method, as opposed to my parents are telling me to do it this way. My teacher is telling me to do it this way. Let's help them take ownership of it. It's yours. How do you want to handle it? How do you want to deal with it? Okay?
So some of the tools we also want to share with you guys today, and we shared this with the kids as well, is encourage the rule of 3. So sometimes we're not going to be able to finish everything in one day. That is impossible. So what are our top 3 that we have to do today? You know, what are our top 3 that's due tomorrow? For example, we have the homework packet due, I have a spelling test, and maybe I have another thing that I need to do. I prioritize one by one. Because sometimes if you're going to tell your child all this needs to be due at once, it does cause a lot of stress for them, some burnout as well. Launchpad area, like Ms. Mai said, a study place is so important. See what works for your child specifically. Backward planning, start from the due date and master steps back. This also goes with prioritizing what needs to be done first. Go ahead. So what can we do as parents?
So I think we covered this a lot. Collaboration is so different than micromanaging and controlling. And I understand we are the parents, we are the adult, we know more. They don't need to hear that. They don't like hearing it. We know it. Yeah, we know it. We don't need to tell them. And honestly, I'll tell you, we can also learn from them. We do learn from them because the generations are different. The time is different. There are things that I do learn from my kids, and I thank them for giving me that privilege of letting me know. And I'm like, okay, we'll integrate that in how we do things. You know, it's really good. You know, yes.
I'm gonna use that against him.
Against
Yeah, you know why? I learned from you and then somebody.
or to learning from me. Yes, yes. You guys, I'll tell you, like when I survey, and maybe it's not your kids, the parents who are present here today, but a lot of the kids, when I survey them about what they need and what they need at home, they just want to be heard. They just want to be empowered. They want to not feel like they're little people, little humans whose opinions don't matter. They want to feel like you take them seriously. A lot of, and this is in the classroom, on the field, on the court, in the dojo, and at home. Kids are going to give you back what you give them. Okay? So if you give them, I am your parent, I'm in charge, I control this household, they're gonna give you back, no, I wanna be in control of my things, right? But if we give them, we're a family, I'm here to support you. I am the decision maker, don't get that wrong. But I'm here to support you, I'm making decisions for you. What do you need from me? Okay, I can do this, this and that. I don't really agree with this. Let's work on it. Now, here's what I need from you. Collaborative. It might, if this is not the dynamic at home, it might be difficult at the beginning, but believe me, long term, it's great and it becomes just the culture of the home. Okay? Encourage them to have healthy boundaries and say no. So a lot of our overachievers at school, those students with high GPA, athletes, leaders in multiple organizations, okay, they're wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. However, I want you to encourage them to ask themselves why. Why am I doing all of this? Am I trying to prove something? If they're trying to prove that they're worthy, then we have an issue, okay? And it ties into here. Validate their efforts and their emotions, not just outcomes. When our children feel like they only get positive feedback after an outcome, after they get an A on an assignment, after they win a game, after they get an award, they're not going to value this effort. And they're going to be very hard on themselves when they make, I think it's on the next slide, make mistakes. They're gonna be very hard. So internally, they're going to feel a compulsion to do this and that and achieve this and burn themselves out and never say no, I don't have time or I can't do it, because they want out validation and they want to feel loved. So it's our job as parents and educators to make them feel loved here too. I see that you're trying so hard. Your best is good enough. You don't need to prove that you're worthy to me. I see you. I know who you are. I appreciate. Okay? This will enable them to, because we have some students, they want to take all the AP classes available, all the dual enrollment classes available, be leaders in all our organizations. Okay, now I don't know, what are you passionate about? Okay? How does this tie into who you are and what your passions are and what your future goals are? Are you doing all of this so you have the title of a star student? Why? What are you missing that you need that label to make you feel like you matter? Because you matter without that label. Okay? There is a difference between us doing something to gain something from others and gain that good job, and which is called extrinsic motivation. The motivation comes from the outside. Okay? And intrinsic motivation, which is I'm doing it because I'm passionate about it. I love it. It makes me feel rewarded. And I am willing to extend myself and go above and beyond in these areas. That's intrinsic. Intrinsic will stay with them forever. Extrinsic will be extinguished, or the light, the fire will go out if you're not there, or if someone is not there to tell them, good job. If they're alone and there's no one who's going to make them feel loved or rewarded, they're not going to have any motivation to do it. So we want it to be from inside. Okay? I bolded this. Comparison kills confidence. Comparison. So I don't know if you guys know, but I'm also a therapist after school and on weekends. There's so much trauma in adults, 40, 50-year-old men and women, because of this in childhood. My mom always compared me to my older sister. My dad always compared me to my second cousin who became a doctor, and this kills confidence. We want our kids to be confident. We want them to be everything they want to be and do as much as they want to do and be stressed and productive, but not motivated by, I need to be as good as my cousin or my brother or my sister or the neighbor's kid, so my dad and mom feel like I'm good enough. Because that type of motivation kills confidence and it kills energy and it's identity confusion. Okay? Remember when I said kids they bounce back what you give them? If we can't manage our own stress and they see that, they're not going to have any model of how to manage their own stress. And please, if you are someone who has high emotional regulation and can manage the stress, please tell your kids when you're stressed. Okay, like if you are, you get stressed, but you can't show it.
You have stress نقول لهم إنه عندنا stress.
But only if you're not like visibly stressed.
شايفين إنه هم عاملين لنا stress.
But that's different. Well, that's where we need to model stress management, right? But let's say Miss Karout is at home and she's really stressed. She has a couple of deadlines and she has to help her kid do this and the other one do this. And she's managing it. You can't tell that she's stressed.
Mhm.
In these situations, oh, Habibi, I'm really stressed out, but I'm gonna take a deep breath. I'm managing it. Okay. Can we just take a 5-minute break? Model, show them that stress can look calm.
Yeah.
Show them that stress is not only, yalla, let's do this. Let's do that. Hurry up. We're gonna be late. You didn't finish yet. They need to see, they need you to model to them that stress can be managed and controlled and you're still okay. So please, if you're okay, communicate that. I'm really stressed out. I have a bunch of things, but I just drank a big cup of water and it really helped. I'm gonna go like close my eyes for like 2 minutes and I'm gonna come back. Model these things for them. Okay?
You got it, Miss Michael.
Okay. Your son actually and your daughter are the ones who told me they inspired this one. They are two of our amazing graduates. Okay, they were like, Miss May, kids these days never get bored. at least they're like, we're the last year of the generation that experienced some boredom in childhood. And boredom creates creativity. Boredom gets your brain thinking, what can I do? When my kids are bored because screen time is done, Mama, what can we do? We're so bored. I'm like, be bored. Be bored. Go figure it out.
Every day. Every day.
Yes.
Every day they ask same.
Yeah. But like celebrate that. Be like, it's great. I'm so happy that you're bored. Be
Allah,
bored
you
and
can
go
go
figure it out. Go explore around the house. Figure out what you're gonna do.
Go do laundry.
I say that. Here's the vacuum. Yeah. Have a blast. Yeah.
لا أنا كمان زهقانة.
But you guys,
Because the winter time is long.
I know.
يعني it's boredom.
Yeah.
It's like
But I'll tell you something. We get frustrated when they tell us they're bored because they're asking us, what do we do if you stay cool? And you're like, figure it out. There are so many things that, or I can't wait to see what you come up with to figure out your boredom. I have no ideas for you, but I think you're gonna figure out something. They keep nagging and coming to you. Say the same sentence. You got it, figure it out. You got it, figure it out. They're gonna get sick of asking you because you keep saying the same thing over and over again. After that, oh my God, it's like with my children, I videotape with the stuff they come up with to do together and the conversation. It's just so inspiring. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I'm so happy you were bored, you know? And then I let them know, do you see what you guys came up with without my help at all? I didn't even have to help you. You did this on your own. I'm so proud of you. That is what produces that dopamine.
والله مش دائما يشتغل هذا الشيء. حاولت.
مش ما هو it depends on the kid. It depends on the kid. You know?
على فكرة الكبار بيأثروا على الصغار.
That's okay. That's okay.
بياخدوا بيصير يطلعوا هذا الكبير ما بيعمل احنا ليش غيرنا علينا؟
Because they're different. Whenever, even though my kids are twins, whenever they compare each other, I'm like, you're a human, she's a human. You're a human and he's a human. Humans are not supposed to be the same. That's not how we were created. We don't need to compare. He'll do this faster than you. He'll take a longer time in this. She enjoys this. He enjoys that. So some of this stuff, you can actually make it a rule that we don't dwell on these things in our house. Like when my kids tell me, all my friends get more time over the weekend to play Roblox or whatever. Good, that's good for them. That's okay in their family. This is our family. We don't compare ourselves to anybody. We have our own brains that work in a certain way. Maybe that works for them. I don't think it will work for us. That's
My little one, second grade, you do the homework in the school. I pick up him, you tell me, I finish it. Yeah, do it the spelling test, you do it. I finish it. What are you doing now? You can play I finish it. I do everything.
I know. Leave.
Sometimes-
That's the board.
اوقات
Play
بعطيه
together, like besides.
على second grade.
مش منيح للعقل تاعهم مو
اللي هو ايه الايباد؟
الايباد.
Yeah, too much. Too much. It's not obvious.
Can I
Yeah.
say something also? Sometimes us as parents, we do have to put in a lot of physical effort. So I know in the summer, because my husband's the one that takes everything when it comes down to electronics, it was a lot of outdoor events, taking them to the park, calling their friends, meeting up. What can you do? You know, so you also got to put an effort, you know, like, let's go out. Yeah, like park, wherever, you know.
In the
بس
winter,
هلا بالوينتر
days.
تايم you don't have a park here. حتى الشريعة بتعدي من الخمسة. أنا امبارح قلت لهم
I take them to the library. That's in the library. The library.
But sometimes بروحوا على اللايبرري بس بتعرف شو بيعملوا؟
They play Roblox there.
الجيم.
I know.
You know, enroll them in the gym. I enrolled my kids in the gym as well. The gym in Dearborn Civic Center. وعندنا indoor pool. خديهم swimming بالاندور بول. شو بدك تعملي؟
عندي
I know.
واحد واحدة
Okay, let me talk to you after. We wrap it up just for the live feed.
لما يكونوا كل واحد
I was gonna say that commenting on
Yeah.
when it's to their advantage,
Yeah.
they like the comparison.
Yes.
But when it's not to their advantage,
They
you
don't.
don't need to compare.
I know. Yeah.
That's the way it is. They let their kids go wherever. I'm حدا.
I know.
Whether you have a game.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. It's nice that be like I'm not like other moms because I'm me.
Why?
Yeah.
You're so much, right? Just let me go with
Yeah.
them. I mean, they
Right.
I'm with you.
I love. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you guys, this one is really important. You want to support them being active, but we don't want to overschedule them too. Don't make them feel like the pressure to be in all of these things and build their personality and their interests coming from you. Again, it's that extrinsic pressure that they feel. So we're supporting you in doing what you enjoy and what will be good for your future and your character building. But overscheduling is neither good for them, nor is it good for you. Okay? Be realistic with it. And make sure you also are not comparing them with other kids. Because sometimes you hear, well, I saw this mom at the school today and her kid has a competition here and is doing this and doing that. Great, get ideas. Your child is your child. Her child is her child. Different situations. We don't need to level up. You don't need to feel like you're missing out on something or not providing something for your kid. Again, in conclusion, ask them this question. Help them build that awareness. How do we know when we're overwhelmed? Because a lot of times, even as adults, we don't know that we're inching toward being overwhelmed until we're completely overwhelmed and put out, burnt out. Okay? So we need to build that awareness for them and us. When is it beginning? And then intervene. What can I do to manage it and support you and bring it back to neutral? Okay? So
طب هذا كيف رح نعلمهم إياه؟
which part?
هو هذا اللي حكيتيه هلا.
You asked them.
الوعي.
You asked them this question. How do you know when you're overwhelmed?
كيف؟
They answer it.
I know بس
Yeah.
كيف إن
Okay, they learn from their own experience. Sometimes even if you tell them.
تحكي له how do you
Yeah.
no كيف بدنا نعلمهم إنه هذا الإشي لازم أنت تعمله أو لازم أنت تفكر فيه. ما هو أنت بتطرح عليه سؤال بيطرح عليك 100 سؤال.
مش راح يتعلم ولا لا يجرب.
ما هو اطرحي نفس السؤال. Okay? Okay. Sometimes when we ask questions, and I always say to parents, lose why from your vocabulary. Why questions should be eliminated. Why would you do this? Why did you
بعرفش.
do that?
بقولي I don't know.
Because why is an accusation. Why the nervous system receives it as a threat. I'm in trouble. Yeah, I'll give you an example. Why is your purse black? How do you feel? Yeah, but the question, how did it like what's wrong with it? Something wrong with it? Oh my God, I love your purse and you chose black. Is that your favorite color? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. When our brain hears why,
اللي بيعمل الغلط أنت بتسألي ليه عملت هيك؟ بصير يقول لك ما بعرف. ما غير يعمل نفس الشيء.
بتسأليه ليه عملت هيك, it's already accusatory. اتهام. It's already اتهام.
So what can she say instead? Was there a reason
Okay.
or?
What happened? I want you to tell me your side.
ليش صار
Yes.
معك هيك؟ ليش
Yeah.
هيك؟ غير صيغة السؤال.
What? Start your questions with what
مهم.
or how instead of why.
إنه
Instead of ليه,
كأنك عم تتهميه.
كيف, or
ليش هيك صار معك؟
إيه اللي حصل؟ ماذا حدث? You know? What's your side? I want to hear your side. A lot of times with my kids, when something happens, when I feel, I'm like, okay, let's sit and talk about it. I feel their nerves before we even sit. They're getting ready to defend. Well, my teacher this, and they all pick on me, but I'm like, hold on, we're not, I know you. I tell him or her, I know who you are. I know what you do and what you don't do. Right now, I don't want to make you feel bad. My intention with sitting down with you is not to accuse you of something. It's to solve a problem. Your teacher contacted me and said this. Your coach contacted me and said this. How are we going to work together to solve this problem?
والله عملت كل الطرق اللي بتحكي عليها ولا نافع شيء.
خلاص انسى.
نريد
ضبط نفسي.
لما اطلع اروح عند وين رحتي؟ بدنا نيجي معك بدنا نيجي معك
هذا لانهم صغار بس يكبروا بصيروا
Just a couple of key ideas, dear parents.
هاني كبار
Balance, again, not one size fits all and not one time fits all. It shifts and goes. Think about your own lives from high school to college to marriage to children to older children. We change.
احنا different generation.
Let's developmentally change. You figure out more stuff about yourself. This used to work, it doesn't work anymore. Like even at home. Yeah. Even at home, you organized a cabinet in your kitchen a certain way, right? After a couple of years, the kids got older, maybe you had more kids. It doesn't work for you anymore. You change it. So it's dynamic, and our kids are dynamic, and they need flexibility, and they need us to empower them as they're changing and shifting. Okay?
Even Miss May, the evening person I used to be.
Yeah,
Anymore.
exactly.
I'm very early morning, early bird.
Yeah.
So different.
So different.
Yeah.
So different.
I was functioning everything at night.
Yeah.
I love the night. I love the quiet. I love the baby. So the thing is,
Yeah, but for you.
I was the sociable person now. I like to stay by myself.
Yes, yes,
I don't like to see anybody.
yeah.
Oh.
And that's another thing, you guys. In some ages, we think we're extroverted. We're social. We love people. We are always out and about. And that is a normal part of the developmental phase in the teens and the early 20s.
social is important.
Yeah.
Social.
That doesn't mean that you're an extrovert. That doesn't mean in I know بالعربي we say شخص اجتماعي ومنطوي. كلنا فينا درجة من ال extroversion الاجتماعية والانطواء the introversion. And these will be dynamic with age, with season, with circumstances, okay? So to be flexible with our kids, be flexible with yourselves first. Be accepting of yourselves and your changes first, okay? Okay. This is another word that should be erased from our vocabulary. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is supposed to be perfect. There's so much value in growth and progression. Until the day we die, we're growing and we're making mistakes. Hopefully not the same mistakes, but we're growing. So imagine if we are like a dish and we're cooked at some point. How boring would that be? What happens after something is cooked? Halas, it's eaten, it's done, right? Growth and progress is a natural part of how humans like, they're inclined to want to grow. They're inclined to improve.
بس هو إذا ما غلط دائما أنا بحكي لهم إياه أنت sometimes بتغلط عشان تتعلم من الغلط اللي أنت
100%. Mistakes are teachers. Yeah, I always tell them mistakes are one of your most important teachers. Embrace mistakes. But we as parents need to embrace mistakes too when they make mistakes. Okay. This was horrible. I'm not gonna tell you, it's okay right now. I'm upset. You made this big mistake. That was a bad decision, but what can we do to grow from this?
You know, Miss Mai, I think parents, we have والله parents لازم يشتغلوا أكثر أفعالهم مع أطفالهم. You know,
Yes.
they assume in the school do all the work. They
No.
will do مش هيك.
Yeah.
Until you start بالبيت.
Yeah.
We start but
المشكلة لما يروح على المدرسة بصير شغلة بس بصير شغلة مش زي ما انت ربطتي
تشتغلي لحاجة تانية مو تشتغلي.
I know. But it's that's very important.
Yeah.
It starts at home. We're the anchors of our children. No one will give them what we can give them, and you can't give them.
تلاقيهم أكتر تملي أكتر.
Can't give them without giving yourselves. You have to give yourselves.
We should have a self-care.
Yeah.
Yes, for parents.
The parents.
Okay. In conclusion, what do we want? We want our children and students to be capable, عندهم قدرة, calm. Calm is not stressed. Calm is not, no one is calm all the time or happy all the time, but we want them to be able to bring themselves to this state when they need to. And they can't do this if you don't show them that you're doing it yourselves, okay? And we want them to be confident because we are preparing them to face life's demands, not just finish middle school, graduate high school, graduate college. We're preparing them for the rest of their life, okay? And these key skills will spill into every area of their life, all right? Okay, we are officially done. Any questions? Like general questions? I'll talk to you. Okay.
Honestly, this was very helpful for me and my child, so thank you. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
Thank you, Ms. May and Ms.
Thank
Karout.
you.
It was an amazing PD session. I would love from all the parents to do that survey.
These guys.
This is gonna be a norm. That's mean every time we finish a PD session, we're gonna do the parent survey. It's required now. So بتمنى من الجميع قبل ما تفلوا هلا تعملوا سكان للكيو ار كود وتعملوا سيرفي مش بالبيت. فانتم هون بالبيت كمان هذا بيتكم.
Oh, I don't want to.
I need you to mark your calendar for next week. Next week is parent teacher conference. Okay. بدي اشوف كل الاهالي ما بدي اشوف بس few of you. بدي كلكم تجروا تعالوا مع اولادكم شوفوا الاساتذه حتى لو اولادكم
Also, can I discussion with you?
So if your kids are passing the class, it's okay.
Anything for
I need to come and talk to your teachers, to your kids' teachers. Okay? Elementary, middle school, and high school. خصوصا middle school and high school. Okay? رح يكون middle school, high school بالجيم. Already they sent the list on parent square. هلا إذا حدا بعد شيء من الأساتذة على كلاس دوجو that's fine. بس كل الكوميونيكيشن نحن تحولت على شيء اسمه parent square. So دايما check your messages from your teachers and make sure you set up the appointment for your elementary students. Conference رح يكون نهار الخميس ونهار الجمعة.
HES Academies have been serving the Detroit metro area for over 23 years, promoting academic excellence, leadership, and cultural diversity, ranking as some of the top schools in the state of Michigan. Our pre-K through 12th grade students enjoy tuition-free, state-accredited education by STEM certified and highly qualified staff with no geographical restrictions, and with advanced placement, college dual enrollment, scholarship, and Arabic language programs. Nor International Academy in Sterling Heights at niapsa.org, Star International Academy in Dearborn Heights and in Canton at starpsa.org, Universal Academy in Detroit at universalpsa.org, and Universal Learning Academy in Westland at ulapsa.org. Join HES Academies today and enjoy a free Chromebook for every enrolled student.